Welcome to today's session where we will explore a gripping concept that's shaping the future of food biotechnology. How biotechnology is transforming the food we eat and safety measures in place, and the importance of maintaining the microbial standards. Let's break it down. Food biotechnology involves using technology and biological process to improve food quality, safety, and production of food. It encompasses a wide range of applications such as genetically modified food, fermentation, food preservation, and enhancing food safety through microbial control. Here's a great idea. Imagine crops that doesn't need pesticides and bread that stays fresher for longer and rice packed with vitamins. It sounds incredible, doesn't it? That's the magic of food biotechnology. Let's explore some of the applications. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs. These are the crops or microorganisms modified to have specific traits. For example, golden rice enriched with vitamin A and BT corn with pest resistance. The second one is fermentation technology. Do you love yogurt or bread? Then we must thank microorganism for that. Because fermentation uses yeast, bacteria or fungi to make food like cheese, wine and probiotics for gut health. Food additives. Enzyme like amylase in bread making or vitamin C as a preservative are produced biotechnologically. Then we have bioinfortification, which enhances the nutritional content of food through biotechnology. For example, iron enriched wheat and high protein maize. Lastly, we have food preservation, where biotechnology based methods are used to prolong the shelf life of the food. For example, use of bacteria, which are natural antimicrobials, to inhibit spoilage of the food, and are also use the technique modified atmospheric packing to have the greater shelf life of the packed foods. Food safety. Why does it matter? While biotechnology improves our food, safety is non-negotiable. Let's discuss some of the key concerns. Allergenicity. GMOs could potentially introduce allergens. For example, if a peanut gene is transformed to another food, it could trigger allergies. Toxicity. Improper genetic modification may produce harmful substances. Antibiotic resistance. Some GMOs use antibiotic resistant marker gene which can pose risk if they spread to pathogens. But don't worry, there are strict regulations to ensure food safety. Codex Alimentarius. Codex Alimentarius, it's Latin for food code and it sets of international food safety guidelines. It was developed by two major organizations, the World Health Organization and the Food and Agricultural Organization. The Codex provides guidelines and standards for the food safety, including GM foods to protect consumer health and promote fair trade practices globally. Now let's bring our focus to India. Have you heard of the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India? It's an India's apex body for regulating food safety. It ensures that the food available in our country is safe and meets the quality standards. From GM foods, it oversees their safety and ensures they are safe for human consumption before they reach the market. Do you think it's essential to have strict regulations for GM foods? Why? Though GM foods can offer benefits like higher yields and pest resistance, but they must be thoroughly tested to prevent potential risk to human health and the environment. Now let's talk about the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. This committee is responsible for approving the release of GM foods and crops in India. GEAC ensured that genetically modified organisms are thoroughly tested for safety, efficiency, and environmental impact before they are approved for cultivation or consumption. For example, BT cotton, which is India's first commercially approved GM crop, went through extensive testing by GEAC before it was released. This step ensured that GM crops benefit farmers and consumers without causing harm to them. Finally, let's discuss an important aspect of food safety, which is labeling guidelines. Why do you think labeling GM foods is necessary? Because labeling is crucial. It allows consumers to make informed decision about the food they buy and eat. In India, it is mandatory to label GM foods so that the people are aware of their origin. This transparency builds trust and ensures that consumers have the right to choose whether or not to consume the GM products. Let me ask you something. What do you think happens if harmful microbes like Salmonella or E. coli are found in your food? Not great, right? That's why microbial standards are crucial because they ensure food safety and protect public health from foodborne illness. These standards limit harmful microorganisms and ensure that food products meet quality exceptions, which is ready to eat food, where these are the foods we consume daily without cooking or reheating. So, testing for harmful pathogens is crucial in these foods. So, pathogens like Salmonella or E. coli are tested while we go for the ready to eat food testing. And total plate count is measured to ensure microbial levels are within safe limits. Now let's move on to the dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt. Why do you think maintaining microbial standards is particularly important for dairy? Since dairy is highly perishable and supports the growth of both beneficial and harmful microbes. Here's what we check. Lactobacillus levels are monitored because they are good microbes used in fermentation, as well as testing for harmful microbes like Staphylococcus aureus is crucial. While pasteurization, heating milk to eliminate harmful pathogens ensures the safety. Meat and poultry. These are the high risk foods. What kind of microbes do you think we test for them? That might be bacteria that causes food poisoning, right? Yes, the two major concerns in meat and poultry are Clostridium botulinum, which causes botulism, and Campylobacter, a common cause of foodborne diseases. We also focus on hygiene processing to maintain contamination, proper storage standards to prevent microbial growth. Seafood. Seafood is another food category require strict microbial standards. Seafood can harbor harmful microbes like Vibrio cholerae, which causes cholera, and Vibrio parahemolyticus, a pathogen linked to seafood-related illness. And to maintain safety, freezing is essential to inhibit microbial growth, and proper packing prevents contamination and spoilage. And here comes the processed foods like canned or packaged foods. So processed foods are tested for spoilage microbes, which includes mold and yeast, which can degrade food quality and pose health risk. Let's explore how we can keep food safe from harmful microbes. So microbes can cause foodborne illness, spoilage and loss of quality as I explained earlier. Now let's explore the various methods used to control microbial growth in food. The first method is thermal processing. Heating kills or inactivates microbes. The two techniques are pasteurization and sterilization. When it comes to pasteurization, heating food to a specific temperature for a short time to kill pathogens while preserving its taste and nutrients. For example, milk is pasteurized to kill harmful bacteria like salmonella. And when it comes to sterilization, heating food to a higher temperature to kill all microbes including spores. For example, canned foods are sterilized to make them self-stable for months or years. Next, we have non-thermal technique, which control microbes without using heat. Non-thermal methods are great for retaining the freshness and quality of foods. Example including UV radiation, which kills microbes on the surface of the food by damaging their DNA. For example, sterilizing the drinking water or packed foods. Second one is high pressure processing, which applies extreme pressure to destroy the microbes and used in ready to eat food meat, and juices. Pulsed electric fields. Short bursts of electricity disrupt microbial cell membranes, which is used in liquid foods like milk and fruit juices. Another method is the use of preservatives. Preservatives inhibit microbial growth. There are natural preservatives and synthetic preservatives. When we talk about natural preservatives, compounds like niacin or sorbic acid, which naturally prevent microbial growth, where sorbic acid is often used in cheese and baked products. Synthetic preservatives, where chemically manufactured components are used to prevent microbial growth, for example, sodium benzoate in soft drinks. Next is an existing method called hurdle technology. Hurdle technology uses multiple methods to control microbes, for example, combining heat, low pH, and modified atmosphere to preserve food. For example, ready to eat meals often use this technique. By creating several hurdles, microbes are unable to survive or grow. The final method is good manufacturing practice. GMP involves maintaining hygiene during food production and packing, regular cleaning of equipment and facilities, ensuring that workers follow strict hygiene practices like wearing gloves and masks, and monitoring storage conditions such as temperature and humidity. Food biotechnology in India is not just about science, it's about addressing real world challenges like food security, malnutrition, and sustainable agriculture. Let's start with the initiatives India has undertaken in food biotechnology. Key initiatives are when BT cotton was major breakthrough. It was India's first genetically modified crop. Its success inspired research into GM food products such as BT brinjal, which was developed to resist pests, reduce the need for chemical pesticides, and increase yields. Now let's talk about the another key initiative is biofortification. Biofortification is about enhancing the nutritional content of crops. A great example is golden rice, which is fortified with vitamin A to combat malnutrition, especially in children. Why do you think biofortified crops like golden rice are so important for India? The fact is that in a country where malnutrition remains a significant challenge, biofortified crops can make a big difference in improving health and well being. Now, let's discuss how food biotechnology is regulated in India. Regulation ensures that GM food crops are safe for human consumption and the environment. In India, two main organizations oversees food biotechnology. Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, this body ensures the safety of GM foods and biofortified products before they reach the market. Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, this is the primary regulatory body that approves the environmental release of GM crops. Now, let me state about the institutes driving research in food biotechnology. Here are the two key institutes. Indian Council of Agricultural Research. ICAR focuses on developing GM crops by fortified varieties and sustainable farming practices. For example, they have worked on drought resistant and pest resistant crop varieties. National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management. NIFTEM is dedicated to research in food processing and biotechnology. They work on innovative ways to enhance food quality, safety, and nutrition. But let's not ignore the challenges. Let me start with public perception. Do you know that many people are still skeptical about biotechnology, especially GMOs? However, most of these fears arise from a lack of awareness or misinformation. That's why it's crucial to educate the public about the rigorous testing GMOs undergo before they are approved. Now let's move to ethical concerns. Biotechnology often raises moral questions, for example, altering natural food products or manipulating genes in organisms can feel controversial to some people. That's no right or wrong answer here. While genetic engineering can save lives and improve food security, it's essential to balance these benefits with ethical consideration, like respecting nature and preventing misuse of technology. Regulatory hurdles. Biotechnological products such as GMOs or new medicines go through very strict and lengthy approval process. While this ensures safety, it also delays the release of beneficial products. Regulations are necessary to protect health and the environment. But if we streamline the process without compromising safety, innovative products can reach society faster and more efficiently. Without proper lab and testing facilities, it's hard to develop, test, and monitor biotechnological products. Government and private organizations need to invest in infrastructure to support these innovations. Finally, let's talk about environmental risk. GM crops, for example, can potentially impact biodiversity. While GM crops offer many benefits, they can sometimes cross pollinate with wild plants or impact other organisms. That is why it's essential to conduct environmental impact assessments before introducing these GMOs into the ecosystem. To address these concerns, first we must strengthen the regulations, educate the public about the benefits and safety of food biotechnology, and we must invest in research for indigenous innovations. So that's a wrap. Food technology is a game changer for addressing malnutrition, ensuring food security, and promoting sustainability. Let's embrace its potential responsibly while ensuring safety and public trust. Thank you for watching. If you find this video informative, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.